All right, let's get right into it. If you thought Hogwarts was all about friendly ghosts and enchanted ceilings, well, you're in for a shock. We're about to pull back the curtain on one of its darkest secrets, a tale of ancient evil, a hidden chamber, and something terrifying stalking the corridors. Welcome to the Chamber of Secrets.
You know, the story doesn't kick off with a happy welcome back. Nope. It starts with a desperate, life-or-death warning from this strange little creature named Dobby. He just shows up in Harry's room, practically begging him, do not go back to Hogwarts. He's convinced some deadly plot is about to unfold, which, let's be honest, raises the question, what could possibly be scarier than another summer with the Dursleys?
So you've got these two totally opposite worlds for Harry, right? On one hand, you have the Dursleys, and it's a literal prison. I mean, bars on his window, a locked room, the whole deal. And on the other, pure magical chaos with the Weasleys. A daring rescue in a flying Ford Anglia, a home that's messy and loud and full of love. The choice is a no-brainer. He has to go back. It's the only real home he has. Little does he know what's actually waiting for him there.
And just like that, the adventure, it takes a really dark turn. It becomes a straight-up horror story. The second Harry sets foot back in Hogwarts, Dobby's warning comes true. Something ancient, something truly evil is now awake inside the castle. Just picture this for a second. You're walking down a corridor at school, and you see this. A terrifying message literally written in what looks like blood. The Chamber of Secrets has been opened. Enemies of the Heir, beware. And as if that's not bad enough, right next to it, the caretaker's cat is just hanging there, stiff, petrified. Suddenly, everything's a question. What is the chamber? Who is this Heir? And who's next?
And things escalate like really fast. It's not just a cat anymore. Now it's students, found completely frozen, like living statues. First it's Colin Creevey, a first year, then Justin Finch-Fletchley, then, and get this, nearly headless Nick. A ghost. How in the world do you petrify a ghost? The fear is just spreading like wildfire. And then it hits home. The monster gets Hermione. And now for Harry, this is personal.
So now the stakes are just through the roof. Everyone's panicking, and the Ministry of Magic basically delivers an ultimatum. Find the attacker or we're shutting down Hogwarts permanently. And for Harry, that's the worst possible news. It means losing the only place he's ever called home and being shipped back to the Dursleys. Forever. Okay, so the adults are clueless, the school is about to be shut down. What happens next? Well, our trio, Harry, Ron, and Hermione, they become detectives. They know they're the only ones who can solve this, and they start a desperate hunt for clues, even if it puts them in serious danger. And the clues they find? They're weird and super creepy. First up, there's this chilling, disembodied voice that only Harry can hear, hissing about killing from inside the walls. Spooky, right? Then you've got your prime suspect, Draco Malfoy, who's not exactly hiding how much he's enjoying all this chaos. And the weirdest piece of the puzzle, a mysterious little diary from 50 years ago that they find just lying there. So, to figure out if Malfoy is the guy, they come up with this absolutely wild plan. They're going to brew Polyjuice potion. Now, this is not some simple charm you learn in class. This is super advanced, totally illegal stuff. They have to steal ingredients from Snape, and then spend a whole month brewing it in a haunted bathroom. That just shows you how desperate they really are. But while all that's happening, there's still the diary, and it's the biggest mystery of all. It's just blank. No writing, no clues, nothing. You open it up, and it's just empty pages. So what is the deal with this thing? What's its secret? Well, turns out it's not empty. Not really. Harry, on a whim, writes in it, "Hello." And the ink just disappears. And then new ink appears, writing back to him. He's literally having a conversation with the diary, or more accurately, with its former owner, a guy named Tom Riddle from 50 years ago. And this is where things get crazy. Tom Riddle doesn't just write back. He pulls Harry into a memory. Harry sees exactly what happened 50 years ago, the last time the chamber was opened, and he sees Hagrid, a young Hagrid, getting caught with a giant, terrifying creature, and he gets expelled for it. Case closed, right? The culprit has to be their friend, Hagrid, right? But before they can even wrap their heads around that, the monster attacks again. And this time, it's not a petrification, it's an abduction. Ron's little sister, Ginny, has been taken into the chamber. So the investigation is over. This is a rescue mission, and Harry and Ron know there's only one thing to do. They have to go in after her.
And suddenly, it all clicks into place. The diary found in the bathroom, the ghost, Moaning Myrtle, who haunts that same bathroom. They talk to her, and she reveals the final piece of the puzzle. She was the student who died 50 years ago, right there. And the entrance to the Chamber of Secrets, it's been hiding in her bathroom this entire time. So they drag their useless professor, Gilderoy Lockhart, along with them and head down. But Lockhart, being the fraud he is, tries to zap their memories so he can take the credit. But, surprise, Ron's broken wand makes the spell backfire, causing a cave-in. And just like that, Ron is stuck on one side and Harry is trapped on the other. He's on his own. He has to face the monster all alone. And now we're in the final act. Down in the deepest, darkest part of the castle, Harry is about to learn the truth. And let me tell you, it's so much more twisted than just some monster in a basement. So, the monster? It's a basilisk. A massive, horrifying serpent. They call it the king of serpents, and for good reason. If you look it directly in the eyes, you die. Instantly. And that explains everything. Why no one died? They were only petrified because they never saw it directly. They saw it through a camera lens or in a mirror or reflected in a puddle of water. The monster is very, very real, but it's not the one pulling the strings. Because the true villain is standing right there, waiting for Harry. It's Tom Riddle. No longer just some ink on a page, but a solid living memory straight out of the diary. He's the one who's been controlling the basilisk. He's been the mastermind behind this whole nightmare. But who is he, really? Why this elaborate evil plan? Tom explains that a name is everything, and then he starts to rearrange the letters of his own name, tracing them in the air with his wand. And this is it, the big one. The letters shift and they spell out a new message. I am Lord Voldemort. Mind blown. Tom Riddle is Voldemort, a younger, teenage version of the same Dark Lord who killed Harry's parents. The evil he's been fighting in the castle is the exact same evil that's defined his entire life. So what comes next is this epic, desperate fight. It's not just Harry versus a giant snake anymore. It's Harry versus the memory of the most evil wizard in history. And even if he wins this battle, you just know the war is far from over. And the battle is just incredible. Dumbledore's phoenix, Fawkes, swoops in with the sword of Gryffindor. Harry manages to slay the basilisk, but he gets stabbed by one of its fangs, a fatal wound. He's literally dying until Fawkes's tears heal him. And then, in this brilliant move, Harry takes that venom-soaked fang and stabs the diary, destroying Riddle's memory once and for all. Later on, Dumbledore connects the dots. Remember that weird snake language thing? The reason Harry can do that is because Voldemort accidentally transferred some of his powers to Harry that night he got his scar. And the diary? It wasn't just some enchanted object. Dumbledore calls it a trace of Voldemort himself, a piece of his actual soul hidden away. And that leaves us with a truly chilling thought, doesn't it? The diary was one piece of Voldemort's soul, one dark trace he left behind. So you have to ask yourself, if he could hide a part of his very being inside a simple book, what other horrifying things did he hide? And where are they now?